Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, letting you know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurants, located right here at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Give them a call at 405-685-7773 for to-go order, or stop in and dine in at the best Mexican restaurant in town. Don't forget to let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you for 10% off your entire purchase. And don't forget $5 house margaritas, Wednesdays only, $5, frozen or on the rocks. Better than you could ever have. Frozen or on the rocks, great food and even better customer service. San Marcos Mexican Restaurants, the only restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What's up, film fans? Welcome to a new episode. Welcome to Halloween Ends, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the good fellas. Craig.
What's cracking?
Zach.
Hey, what's up?
Happy Sunday for everybody watching us live here on Emisawa Productions. A traditional happy Monday to everybody listening to this podcast on Mondays that audio drops audio wise. I'm excited, guys. This is one of the bigger movies, maybe more diverse conversations we might be having here at the podcast here in a minute. But we're talking Halloween Ends today, episode 215. Spooky season continues. So with that being said, I'm excited to talk about Halloween Ends. But Zach, we'll start with you. How was your week? Good end of the weekend?
It was a good end, pun intended, for the weekend. Got a lot going on this upcoming week, so I'm looking forward to it.
There is a lot of stuff coming up this week. Some stuff is getting shoved around. Our next episode is actually in just 4 days, so be prepared for that. Craig, what about you, man? Good weekend?
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Mallory has the vid.
The vid.
So we're chilling.
Hell yeah! You get time off work too?
I have not
told your employees yet.
I haven't asked my boss if I have.
Hey man, if you need a positive test, just let me know. I know a guy.
Just get one from Mallory. I don't need.
Oh, there you go too. Yeah.
Like,
the vid came back for vengeance.
No, yeah, she got it Friday, and we've just been chilling.
Did she know where she got it from?
Work.
Work.
Her entire job's like out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's like 10 people there, and 5 of them called out because they all have COVID.
But yeah, for everybody watching on Emisawa Productions YouTube channel, thank you for joining us on this special Sunday episode. 85,000 subscribers now on this YouTube channel. You guys get new content every single day. Wrestling, open box cards, horror movie reviews. We have a new movie every single Monday. So I think they're still doing the Fanboys podcast too. So you guys have brand new content that comes out on this channel every single day. So like, share, subscribe, and don't forget you can watch this episode and all of our other episodes on this YouTube channel on demand whenever you want to. If you want to listen to any of our past episodes, just like you would normally listen to any other podcast, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, You can also find us on the Prescribed Films Network, www.prescribedfilms.com. Hashtag just the PFPN, and you can find us there along with a bunch of other great podcasts. Attack of the Killer podcast, the Movie Defenders. So go check out that website. Great content. You can find us literally anywhere now. So, guys, if you want to listen to last week's episode, I think we had a pretty fun conversation about Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. So go check that out wherever you listen to podcasts as well. The social media, it's real simple, real easy. Facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Twitter is at Cine-Men405. And then the email, probably the easiest and fastest way to get a hold of us, is CINEMEN921@gmail.com. So some pretty fun stuff. We go through a bunch of different topics. Today, if this is your first time joining us, we'll review the movie Halloween Ends. We got some great stuff to talk about on movie news, box office rewind, the truth, and then our favorite segment is the top 5. Today's we'll be talking our top 5 Jamie Lee Curtis movies. So it should be fun.
But before we get to all that, let me take a brief moment and talk about Rodeo Cinema, one of our good sponsors here on the show. Rodeo Cinema, a non-for-profit our house movie theater in Oklahoma City, located in the Stockyards, 2221 Exchange Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Hey guys, it's Halloween season, and they are just cooking all kinds of good shows over there. You can still go see Moon Age Daydream, Pearl, Don't Worry, Darling. But hey guys, this coming Saturday, October the 22nd, they're bringing back Oklahoma Horror Fest. All day long, they'll be showing some classic films like Young Frankenstein, Dawn of the Dead, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and The Blair Witch Project. So go check them out. Tell them that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you, and have a great old time.
All right, guys, let's get into some recent watches. Craig, I finally saw what you were talking about. I'll start off with my list. I did finally watch the end episode, the finale, if you will, of She-Hulk, and I enjoyed the first 8 episodes. I honestly did. It was cheesy. I liked how she broke the fourth wall, talked to the camera. I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed how they made her look, and even though the CGI was kind of shit, I thought it was fun. But I did not enjoy the season finale at all. I thought it was terrible. And it just leaves a bitter taste in your mouth as far as like what's next for Daredevil, what's next for She-Hulk, and Bruce Banner coming back with spoiler alert, with his son. He had a son Hulk. So very, very just rushed, crazy season finale. I was looking at a 7 for the complete series, giving it a star rating. But I think just because of that alone, I think I'm going to give it like a 5 or 6.
Did I talk? I didn't talk about this on the podcast last week, did I?
You did not. You said you did not. You haven't seen any episode, but over the weekend you texted that you watched the season finale, and you said
I skimmed through the season finale, and I was like, thank God I didn't watch this. I was very because somebody on Twitter was like, oh, I love how they did this, and that, and it all makes sense and ties in Loki. I'm like, where did this tie in Loki? Like, it was honestly it
was a mess.
It was a mess. Like,
big mess.
I enjoy how I didn't enjoy. I think it's creative that they kind of did the whole meeting Kevin thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, that's not my story or whatever. Like, it's creative. It kind of gives people the whole, she was like, do I need to wait for the camera to turn away because the CGI costs so much? Like, they were poking fun at how bad she looked. Like, it's almost like they're making fun of us.
Yeah.
Because of how bad the CGI was. They knew what they were calling it shit, but yet they still come out and they're like, oh, we don't have the money for, like, then don't fucking do it.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a mess. Some other stuff that I checked out. I did check out some Denzel movies, getting ready for Denzel month and the top 5 episode in December. So I checked out Virtuosity. Honestly, it was kind of terrible. a young 1995 Denzel with a Russell Crowe. Fallen with John Goodman and Denzel, really really solid flick. Um, I checked out Halloween 78, 2018, and Halloween Kills just to kind of get a refresher before I watched Halloween Ends. Did check out Halloween Ends on Peacock. Um, I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation for Friday the 14th this past week. Fun movie. It's a terrible sequel, but Matthew McConaughey's performance alone is worth just watching that movie because he is insane in that movie. Um, Courage Under Fire, Denzel, Remember the Titans. I forgot how fucking good Remember the Titans is. Golly. For an hour and 50-minute movie that just flies by. He got game with Denzel. And then I want to talk about this little documentary I watched called I Love You, You Hate Me on Peacock. It's about Barney and all the Barney haters.
Oh yeah.
At how it just completely destroyed lives, made lives better. If you guys have 2 hours to kill, it's a part 1 and part 2 documentary. Part 1 is an hour, part 2 is an hour. I highly recommend it. It's entertaining if you grew up on Barney, even if you didn't, and you want to just see some of the hate that's out there, but also some of the good in this world. Like, it's a very, very strong documentary, and it's available on Peacock. So if I had to recommend anything that was easy to access, Halloween Ends and I Love You, You Hate Me on Peacock. So, Craig, what about you, man? We'll kick it off with you next. You check anything out this past week that...
So I watched Halloween Ends. Man, I really didn't watch anything. Well, it was I've been door dashing a little bit,
Okay.
trying to make some extra money, so that's kind of where some of my free time's going. Been playing Madden a lot outside of everything else.
You watch
And then
check out some college football?
Sports, yeah, college football, NFL today. Took a nap earlier.
Speaking of NFL,
Hey, this is a big game tonight.
the big game tonight. That's why we're doing this at 5:00 today.
But yeah, pretty much since Friday, it's just been taking care of Adley and
I got water on me. Look, I'm so fucking
making sure
excited.
everything's good over here. So
So
that's it for me.
Some good college football games on this past weekend. I didn't watch any NFL games yet. Obviously, prepping for them boys tonight. Number 1 defense in the league. Zach, what about you? You check anything fun out?
Yeah. Obviously Halloween Ends for today's episode. I'm kind of like you, Johnny, kind of getting ready for our Denzel episode. Checked out Inside Man, the Spike Lee bank robbery film. I hadn't seen it in a while, and it's very, very good. I was kind of surprised that it was a Spike Lee movie, to be honest. I kind of, it surprised me a lot. And then it took me a couple of days to watch this just because of just the length of it. I've talked about Kim Burns on the show before, a documentarian. He usually does stuff on PBS. He has a new 3-part series out called The U.S. and the Holocaust.
I heard that was good.
Very, very powerful. I really don't want to give anything away if you guys want to watch it, but it really shows. I mean, America, we can be good and we can be bad. Obviously, that's what it really comes down to. And
Sounds like the Barney documentary.
I mean, it's surprising how much we did not do to save people's lives during that time. So I'll just leave it at that and go check it out. The U.S. and the Holocaust.
Nice. As always, if anybody else wants to bring anything, the Nun 2 begins filming in France this week. I want to kind of know how some of this stuff works. Obviously, The Nun was terrible, but it brought in money at the box office, so I guess it got greenlit for The Nun Part 2. Anybody interested in The Nun? I know the first one was okay, but I don't know about a second one.
I think the first one is like the weakest of the Conjuring series. I think it's awful. I don't know why. I mean, the character of the nun was really teased really well in the Conjuring 2, but I think they could have just left it at that.
The MCU has a wave of delays again. Blade is now September 2024, if it happens at all. Deadpool 3 is November 8th, 2024. Fantastic 5 is now Valentine's 2025. Secret Wars is now May 1st, 2026. And then so what do you guys think?
So they only moved the one Avengers movie, right?
I thought they moved both of them.
Yeah, they moved. Let me go back to this photo. It says November 7th, 2025, Untitled Marvel movie. Avengers Secret Wars, May 1st, 2026, Untitled Marvel movie. Yeah.
But I thought they had already titled both of those new Avengers movies coming out.
That's what I thought too, but I thought which one is November 7th? That one's untitled supposedly, and that got moved.
That would have to be, if it's the other Avengers, this has to be Kang Dynasty. Is that the other one?
The Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
So
I just, that I think unfortunately as much I'm the one out of everything that's coming out, Blade is the one that I think it could be really cool, but unfortunately that might be the one that
gets scrapped.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll get scrapped, but it might be.
I mean, they're
not
having
as good.
They're having trouble finding a director, and my biggest fear is I think Mahershala Ali is going to drop out of it. If that happens, then I think they'll just scrap it.
I've heard a lot about him dropping out too, because he's just, and this is just from what I've read. Again, it's nothing concrete, but I've read that he's not happy with the direction of the film, and he's not happy with them not holding on to a decent director.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's in demand. A lot of people want him for different things.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Mario trailer. I don't think we talked about some trailers last week, but the Super Mario trailer came out. Looks promising. I like the way the CGI looks and the animation. People are now shitting on Chris Pratt's voice. What do you guys think?
I don't think they're shitting on Chris Pratt personally. I think
they're not.
They're upset that it's not. I mean, you have. I can't remember what his name is, but the guy that voices Mario, he was available to be a voice of Mario, and they went with Chris Pratt. And I think it's mainly because Chris Pratt and not the name of the other guy, and they want it to be a universal kind of film. But I don't know. It just kind of seems like he's faking an accent and not kind of really Italian or something. I don't know.
What do you guys think? Like, if ever you think people would be happy if it was still Chris Pratt, but he was faking an Italian voice?
No, I just think
it'd be worse.
If it was a better accent or something, it would be better.
A lot of people are saying that this is going to take the Sonic wave, and they might delay it just to redo the voice acting. Yeah. Who knows? But it's Illumination, and I'm super excited for it. I don't think Illumination really does or puts together like a really bad product.
No.
So I'm still excited for it.
I mean, the animation looks good in it. I mean, I'm not. I don't know if I'm really excited about the thought of a Super Mario Brothers movie, but I mean,
you want John Leguizamo to be in the movie? I mean, come on.
I'll bet you $5 he's a cameo somewhere in that movie. I'll bet you $5.
It's a me. I also saw the Wednesday trailer.
Oh, with the Tim Burton
Addams
family. Yeah.
Addams Family, Wednesday. It's a mini series. Jenna Ortega is playing Wednesday, which I'm super, super excited about.
She was in Scream early this year, so
yeah. I think she's gonna be in the new one in March. So I'm super excited about Wednesday and the Family Addams, directed by Tim Burton, miniseries Netflix. Anybody else got to check out the
I saw the trailer. It comes out just in time for Thanksgiving. Yeah. I'll probably watch a couple episodes of it. It looks interesting. I think, like you said, Jenna Ortega, I think she looks the part of Wednesday. So I think if anything else, I think that looks promising. So
you also have Christina Ricci is in it as a side character, which, she played the original live action Wednesday Addams.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is Morticia. Luis Guzman is Gomez. people are
Yeah.
shitting on. I don't know why people are
I don't know
writing.
why.
People are shitting on this for him playing Gomez, and he looks just like the original Gomez from like the very first Addams Family.
Yeah. So
He looks legit, and he also looks like the animated one from the animation a few this past year. So,
Yeah.
dude, I'm excited for the cast. I think it's going to be really fun. Fred Armisen plays Uncle Fester, so
That'll be unique.
I'm digging it. It's only 8 episodes, so, and it's Tim Burton. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
yeah.
Last thing I'll bring up for movie news, and then if anybody else wants to bring anything up, they can. Mel Gibson is, since we just got done talking Mel Gibson this past just a few weeks ago, Mel Gibson is going to testify against Harvey Weinstein in the LA trial. I guess Harvey Weinstein's case is finally getting, I guess they're trying to put it to rest finally. These Halloween movies, at least H2O, Resurrection, and Curse of Michael Myers, has Harvey Weinstein wrapped all in them because of, what's the production studios act that did them?
Weinstein Company.
Yeah, the Weinstein Company did all these movies. But Mel Gibson's going to testify. I think this is what they need to finally put this to rest and put him away. That way it proves, it's not just females that said, hey, no, he's doing bad things. I think it's good that they're getting male actors and, males to say, no, he's a piece of trash. Has anybody been keeping up with any of this Weinstein trial? No,
I just know he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. He'll pay for his crimes. I mean, hell, he's lost all his money, his reputation, everything. I mean, every single those Oscars that he won basically mean nothing. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
give them to us. We'll take an Oscar.
We'll take an Oscar.
It means something to me.
Yeah.
CDR. Sorry, I was making fun of it. CDR Electronics, located at 1604 West I-240 Service Road, is your location for all of your electronic needs. And speaking of, Halloween's coming up. We're talking about it today. Speaking of that, they are having a costume contest. Snap a photo in our store in any costume and post and tag at CDR Electronics, and they will choose 3 winners for a cash prize. So, go in there, check them out. They got a large selection of video games. A whole wall of Xbox, PS5, PS4.
Dude, if we go in there as the Sanderson sisters, we're winning that contest.
Well, Johnny, I was going to say this is your perfect time to dress up as Russell from Up and win us some cash.
Hey, is this something? Is this something we want to do?
Dude, if y'all dress me up as Russell, I'll go in there and take a fucking picture. Excuse me, Mr. Gustafson. I'll do it. Watch it. I wonder what the cash prize is. If it's $100, we each get a. We'll split that 3 ways. That's not here, so he don't get anything.
There it is, man.
Oh,
there
dude, yeah, do it. Yeah.
Just walk in there. Here, Blu-ray.
Right.
Instead of sniping.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry, let me get to it.
I'll take it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
That's still the best soundbite that we have. That's amazing.
Exactly.
But if you guys are just now joining us, this is the truth segment where Zach spits some truth facts about Halloween Ends.
Yeah, so Halloween Ends uses the blue font used in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch for its opening credits. Yeah, because they had to remind us about that awesome jewel of a movie. The high school kids that ride in the black convertible, this is a homage to Halloween 5 and the character of Mike who obsesses over his black convertible in that film. Both cars end up being vandalized. This is the only film in the series to feature another killer besides Michael. And Nick Castle, the man who originally played Michael Myers in the original 1978 film, has a cameo at the bar sequence as he flashes Corey as he collides into him.
Oh, nice.
He says the famous line, "Do you like what you see?" I was like, okay, that's got to be When I saw that, I was like, that's got to be somebody from the series or something like that.
That's nice. Yeah, that's real good. This episode, guys, is also brought to you by OKC Soda Company. It's the OKC Soda Company located right here in Oklahoma City. They have all unique special flavors, including strawberry shortcake, blueberry acai, root beer, cherry limeade. The Craft Soda Company of Oklahoma with super unique flavors made with all pure cane sugar. You can get them locally here at Crest Foods, Pruitt Foods, and you can also get them online at okcsodacompany.com. Don't forget to send in your emails and let them know that you heard it here first, that you heard about OKC Soda Company from the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. So, Zach, you also have some Box Office Rewind, which is a new segment that you started just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So what Zach normally does with this Box Office Rewind, depending on the year that the movie came out, he will let you know about the top 4, 5, or 10 of the top movies that came out that year, top 10 grossing movies. So since we're in the middle or halfway at the butt end of 2022, Zach, I think that you ended up picking. What did you end up doing?
We're going to go back to the original Halloween, 1978, because I think all of us in this room, probably our listeners can probably guess Top Gun Maverick's the number one film so far. We still have Black Panther and Avatar 2. So probably after sometime next year when we get final numbers, we'll do 2022. But for today, we're going to go back to 1978 from the original Halloween. We're going to do the top 10 films that was the box office sensations or highest grossing. Starting off with number 10, Halloween ended up in 10th place. The Deer Hunter, Revenge of the Pink Panther. Jaws 2 was number 7. Hooper, I don't know what that is. Heaven Can Wait, Every Which Way But Loose. Number 3, National Lampoon's Animal House. Number 2, Superman. And number 1, which kind of surprised me, but not really, is Grease. Grease was the number 1 film of 1978.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I don't want.
Yep.
Grease brought in the money. Brought in the money.
And that is the box office rewind.
I'll get a clip for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next is it's our most favorite segment. I'm not gonna lie. It's near and dear to all of our little bitty hearts. We're gonna talk our top 5 Jamie Lee Curtis movies. All right, guys. So if any of you guys want to play along, go ahead and send them in. We'll read them at the end of next week's episode. CINEMEN921@gmail.com. Does anybody have any honorable mentions before going to number 5?
Just one for me is Halloween Kills.
I'm going to run through my 3. Halloween 2 from 1980. Freaky Friday and Terror Train. So those are my my 3 honorable mentions. Now we'll kick off with number 5.
5.
Zach, go ahead and kick us off. What's your number 5?
Number 5 is the film we're talking about today, Halloween Ends. So we'll get to it here in a little bit.
Number 5 for me is going to be from earlier this year, or no, 2019. My bad. Knives Out. Even though she wasn't in it throughout the entire movie, I just thought it was a fun character for her. She did bring somewhat of a light life to the to the whodunit situation, and I kind of liked her, almost like a Karen attitude throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So number 5 for me is going to be Knives Out. Craig, what about you?
Number 5 for me is going to be Freaky Friday, Disney movie with who is that? Lindsay Lohan. Just a good, kind of different than everything else she's done. I thought it was wasn't it a remake, or did they remake that movie?
No, I think it's a remake of a 40s or 50s Disney film.
Okay, I
Oh,
think
man.
maybe there's a remake of. Okay,
That
but
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was a good remake. For the day, it was, or that era. So yeah, it's my number 5.
4,
Zach, number 4 for you.
Number 4 is a film we did earlier. I think it was we opened our A24 month. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. A film that, I think it was kind of divisive between all of us, but I think Jamie Lee Curtis, it really surprised me when she showed up in this movie, and I thought she kicked ass in it. Honestly, I didn't know she did an interview for Halloween Ends, and Jimmy Kimmel was like, you're getting a lot of Oscar buzz for this. I'm kind of surprised by that, but like I said, she kicked ass, and she was really awesome as kind of like the side villain in it.
Yeah, I saw a way too early predictions, like I think early this morning, about Oscar buzz, and she looks like she could get nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So,
and that Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is my number 4.
this is from Jeremy. From what I know, there is one certain type of critic that didn't seem to enjoy this movie. So I'm curious what you guys would have to say about this movie.
Well, you are in the right place.
Spot.
Yeah, we're about to discuss this Halloween Ends. Number 4 for me, classic holiday movie. Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis, Trading Places. Fun movie. I watch it every single year. It's and honestly, it's one of I think it's one of the biggest movies that she did right after Halloween. So, unfortunately, people only talk about this movie because it's like the first movie that she shows her breasticles in. But honestly, it's just a fun movie. It's good to see the trading places, literally, of Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, and Jamie Lee Curtis plays a good little side character in the movie. So, number 4 for me is Trading Places. Zach? Oh, you
Nope.
just went. Sorry.
Craig.
Craig?
Yeah, I just went. Craig.
Number 4 for me is going to be 2021's Halloween Kills. I know the movie kind of gets we all kind of shit on it a little bit when we talked about it. But I think I liked it. It was good in the moment for her because it was upbeat. It was a fast-paced movie. It was hectic. I just think she really kind of, I don't know. It was good for her. I don't really know how to explain it, but I liked her in it. So it's my number 4.
After, I did a rewatch of it before going to see Ends. I think she's still very prominent in it, even though she kind of takes a back seat of what's really going on throughout the story.
Yeah. But I really liked her, when they're leaving the house from.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
3,
My number 3 is going to be the one that started it all, the classic Halloween, courtesy of Johnny. He let me have an extra copy of his that got sent in the mail. I don't know what else you could say more about the original Halloween other than it's a classic. I think it pretty much skyrocketed her to fame, and she kind of became the new Scream Queen because of it. And we get to see how it all ends. So number 3 is Halloween from 1978.
Number 3 for me is going to be a movie that needs to be on Blu-ray, and I don't know why the hell they're not putting it on there. But number 3 is going to be True Lies from 1994.
Are you sure you want it in Blu-ray? Or do you want it in 4K?
I want it on fucking Blu-ray. Okay, it's only been on DVD, and I don't know why. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, Bill Paxton, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Helen, or Jamie Lee Curtis, they play a married couple, directed by James Cameron. This is just a fun, action-packed comedy, thriller, and it's a balls-out fun movie, man. It's a 90s action flick, and Jamie Lee Curtis plays, a heartthrob of a wife next to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and him being the husband, and
He's a heartthrob as well.
He is a heartthrob in this movie. It's just a bang out comedy, man. And I think throughout the whole movie, she doesn't know that he is who he is. And then there's that famous scene where she's like stripping for him, and he's the husband, and he's like, they don't know that they're both right there. So True Lies is a fun movie, and I really do wish it could hurry up and get a Blu-ray release. It's on Hulu. I'd like to talk about it one day. So True Lies is number 3 for me.
Y'all get the Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Craig, number 3 for you?
I'm going to follow you. True Lies. It is a great Christmas movie, even though people say it's not. Yeah, like you said, everything about the movie, it's just it's a good action, good comedy. And I think outside of Halloween, that is her one of her other, most well-known films. So
Her bread and butters.
2,
Zach, number 2.
Number 2, got to see this in theaters when it came out in 2019. Loved it. Knives Out. Like you said, Johnny, Jamie Lee Curtis kind of plays like a Karen type of a character. I think she's Chris Evans' mom, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, for it to be an all-star cast with Daniel Craig, Ana de Armas, Chris Evans, Michael Shannon, Toni Collette. I mean, the scenes that she's in, she sticks out. And so I think she doesn't have to be the lead in a movie, and she's able to shine. I mean, I am a little bummed that she's not in the new one, Glass Onion, but I'm kind of glad that they're kind of doing like a anthology thing where it's going to be a new mystery with Daniel Craig. So Knives Out number 2.
I'm not excited about it being on Netflix only, though.
It'll be out. It'll be in theaters.
Will it?
For Thanksgiving, it'll be out in theaters.
Oh, okay.
So
good. Number 2 for me, Zach, I think you already mentioned it. Classic. We did a whole episode on it. We don't have to spend much time on it. It's going to be Halloween.
Yep.
I don't think neither one of them, the franchise or her, kick off the way they do or have that much of a big success without those two. So, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing this solely based off her performance in the movies.
Yeah.
So my favorite performance from her. So number 2 is Halloween. Craig?
Number 2 for me is going to be Halloween 2018. Just kind of the start of the quote unquote reboot,
requel trilogy, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. They could have ended it. They could have left it alone, but they didn't. And I think the 2018 film is amongst the top. So
1,
All right, Zach, this is going to be interesting. You've already named off Halloween. What's number 1 for you?
Number 1, I agree, Johnny. I'm kind of glad you said you're kind of basing yours off of performances.
Is it Halloween Resurrection?
Oh, you got me. Dang it. No, number 1 is 2018's Halloween.
Oh.
I think her performance in 2018's Halloween is really, she was able to basically redesign Laurie Strode, and she's a alcoholic PTSD survivalist at this point, and I think she did awesome. It's very different from the performance that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want nobody reading my mind.
There you go. Yeah,
that was yours from Signs.
Yes,
I wasn't here.
But yeah, 2018's Halloween. Yeah, put it on eBay. Say it's a prop from the set. Let's see how much money you can get. Yeah, 2018 Halloween is number 1 for me. Number
1, I got kind of a tie. I should have just put this in the honorable mention, but I wanted to spend a little bit more time on it. Number 1B for me is going to be Halloween H2O. I don't know, people are like, Halloween H2O, the movie kind of fucking sucks. Yeah, the movie does kind of fucking suck, but the way Halloween H2O ended was just perfect. The way Jamie Lee Curtis played Laurie Strode 20 years later about being the drunk, kind of abusive mom, a single mom. They took that same Laurie Strode and put her in 2018's version, which was fine, which was cool. But I just think she portrayed Laurie Strode so much better in H2O. Number 1A for me is going to be My Girl, when she plays the stepmother, or she plays the dad's girlfriend, Dan Aykroyd's girlfriend in My Girl. If anybody hasn't seen My Girl, I think you should go out and check this out. It's a very coming of age story about this little about a little girl. She grows up living, in a funeral home. Her dad owns a funeral home, and he goes out and he needs somebody to put makeup on the bodies after they pass away. So Jamie Lee Curtis is that person. She plays Shelley in the movie, and she's just a very good mother figure and girlfriend figure for Dan Aykroyd. Macaulay Culkin's in it. You're gonna cry your eyes out in the middle of the movie, I promise you. So go check it out. Number one for me is my girl, Jamie Lee Curtis plays Shelley. So Craig,
Number one for me is going to be 1978's Halloween. You guys kind of based it off of performances. I don't think this is her best performance, but I do think it is. It's classic. It's the one that kind of kicked her off and made her what she is. So Halloween is going to be my number one.
Halloween did make her. She made Halloween. Halloween made her. Yeah, it's kind of like a Batman and the Joker. Anyway,
yeah.
The top 5 every week is brought to you by Red and Blues Pizza. Red and Blues Pizza is open 7 days a week right here locally in Oklahoma City. Check them out at 4500 South May Avenue right here in Oklahoma City. You can also give them a call and get your pizza made over the phone, 405-602-2838. They have all kinds of good deals, great pizza at a fun, affordable price for the entire family. If pizza's not your deal, they have cheeseburgers, they have wings, gyros, cinnamon sticks, and they also have salads. So check them out, Red and Blues Pizza. They have food and prices great for the entire family. Friday night, why not make it a Red and Blues night or any night of the week? Get your favorite kind of pizza, get a movie, and check out, listen to or watch us and enjoy your pizza. So, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the director before we dig into the movie because it's that time. David Gordon Green is at the helm of all these new 3 Halloween movies. He's also done some other kind of directing as well. So we'll kind of go through his filmography a little bit and kind of see what he's done. He's of course directed Halloween Ends, a few TV shows, Halloween Kills, Halloween 2018. He's also done Stronger with
Jake
Gyllenhaal. Our Brand is Crisis with Sandra Bullock. He's done a few episodes of Eastbound and Down. He's directed Joe, Prince Avalanche, The Sitter, Your Highness, Pineapple Express. So him and Danny McBride are known to be like comedy writers and directors. Does anybody have like an overall favorite film that he's directed yet? Or does anybody want to save that for the end of the episode? If I had to pick something, obviously, he's done really good with the Halloween movies. I take my hat off to him, but Pineapple Express to me was his it's the one that brought me to it's his cup of tea, and I think it was just a funny, hilarious fucking comedy movie. Zach?
Halloween would probably be Halloween 2018 would be number 1 for me, but outside of that, I would agree. Pineapple Express and Joe with the Nicolas Cage, really, really good film.
Craig?
Pineapple Express for me, easily.
All right, guys, that's what we are talking about today. We are talking Halloween Ends, which had a theatrical release this past Friday, October 14th, 2022. With a budget of $20 million right now, it's number 1 at the box office. It's sitting at a little over $45 million for the opening weekend. We'll talk about some of these ratings right now. IMDb has it at 5.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is sitting at a 39%. The Metascore is at 45%, while the Google users have it at 63%. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine-chilling climax in this final installment of this Halloween trilogy, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Matchcheck, James Jude Courtney, Rohan Campbell, Will Patton, directed by David Gordon Green. Also helped with written by Danny McBride. Also stars Kyle Richards, plays Lindsay. So guys, let's dig into it. I think out of all of us, Zach, are you the only one who checked it out in the theater?
I believe so. You saw it on Peacock. Craig, did you watch it on Peacock? Okay.
I did.
Yeah, I checked it out on Peacock as well. Spoiler alert. So if you have not seen Halloween Ends yet, pause this at 45 minutes. Go check out the movie. It's on Peacock. It's in theaters right now. My one simple word that I would have to use right when the movie was over would be, I think this is going to probably piss some people off, but I'm going to say fulfilling. As soon as those credits start rolling. Zach?
Interesting choices that left me fulfilled and cold at the same time.
Ooh, cold. Sounds like a fucking sandwich. Craig, what about you?
Zach, I feel you on that. I'm gonna go with it was solid and they tied the bow. They wrapped it up.
They wrapped it up all right. Let's talk about it, guys. Again, spoiler heavy. 47 minutes into the episode. What do you guys think of Corey's intro? And what did you think first off? What did you guys think the film was going when you saw the opening of the boy's death and your first look at Corey?
Yeah, I mean the opening main sequence before you get to the credits is, Corey is a babysitter. He's taking care of this kid for a rich couple, and they're watching The Thing, which I thought was a good John Carpenter reference. And basically, the little boy Jeremy plays a prank on Corey, locks him in the attic, and they're kind of going back and forth between sequences, and the parents come home and Corey kicks the door so hard, and I think it was an accident. Overall, the boy falls to his death from the top floor of the house. And so Corey basically gets chastised and crucified, and basically that sets off the rest of the film. What do you guys think about it?
So when he initially looked down the stairs, I was like, man, that's a long fall. And, funny enough, they use it. I thought initially when it happened, because they didn't see him up top. So I thought initially when it happened, he was going to have the knife or something there, and he's going to be like, he's back. I thought they were going to try to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the route it was going to go, even though Michael Myers wasn't back. He was going to try to do that, and then the whole town was going to get up in a,
frenzy
in arms and go try to find them or whatever, and then they'd stumble across them or whatever. But I think the route that they went, where it kind of shows that, things can trigger trauma, and trigger insanity, and how you treat people affects the outcome of things. So I think it was the subtleness of that, as well as the outcome of everything else, I think worked well together.
I like that being put to use, because it seems like everybody that I've talked to, everybody that I've, all the people I've talked to or all the reviews I'm reading, they are just not happy with this movie at all. They're completely trashing the movie. It has nothing to do with the storyline. And I think we kind of talked about this last year when we talked about Halloween Kills. We knew David Gordon Green was going to probably go a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch route. We knew that, his third installment may be off the rail. We knew that going in. At least that's what we kind of had talked about. But I think, honestly, did you want a 2-hour movie of just Laurie and Michael going back and forth? I just really enjoyed how David Gordon Green put realism into this Halloween story.
Yeah.
Like he put real life matters, real life issues. You know what? And I do think we complained about it a little bit last year, how this Michael in Halloween Kills was an absolute terror killing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us were complaining about it, but looking back and watching all three of them now, I'm like, there's reason he did that in Halloween Kills.
Yeah, it
'Cause
makes
you're not-
sense.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not going to get that in Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I talked about after that movie. I was like, now, you can. I didn't like the way it was when it first came out, but I said we have to wait for the third one. We have to wait for the story, and it all makes sense. He puts everything out there in the second one, and he's able to tell the story and wrap things up in the third one.
Yeah. And I think, I reading some reviews about this film and kind of the whole the trilogy as is. People are upset because of the social commentary aspect of these films. And I get you don't need to do social commentary in a Halloween movie. You just want to see Michael just F some people up. But at the end of the day, if you really just analyze these films, the first one was Laurie's trauma. How did that affect her 40 years after the initial attack? Halloween Kills is the actual Haddonfield town. How does the myth of Michael Myers affect an entire population of people, basically? Yeah. And then in this one, it's more of, because we don't really know the backstory of Michael, how does trauma and being accused of something that you didn't do, how does it affect you? And in this case with Corey, he becomes
a resemblance of
Michael. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
They even say it in the movie, they're like, I think one of the moms, right, say that, your boogeyman didn't go off and die, or we couldn't blame, your boogeyman is gone. So now the town had to pick out and find a new boogeyman to
Yes.
kind of model and pick after.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was just Corey's bad doing. Right. What did you guys think of, though? That first hour really is Corey's film. Did you guys enjoy the aspect of the story being more on the daughter and Corey than anything else? I know that's what a lot of people are having issues with right now, is the first hour of the movie.
To be honest, for me, in my personal opinion, the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, I really was into it. I was like, wow, this is better than Kills. This is actually going to end on a high note. And we can talk about it. I feel like when Corey goes, I liked answering your question, Johnny, I liked the relationship between Corey and Allison. I thought that was kind of a cool boy meets girl type thing. When Corey goes into the sewer, or he gets dragged in the sewer, and then when Michael puts his hand on his neck and chokes him, I get later what Laurie is saying about he's infected by Michael's evil. But it just, for me, when I was sitting in the theater, I was just like, is this what we're doing? Just like evil is just being transported from Michael to Corey, and that's what leads them.
It's not being transported. So at the end of Halloween Kills, what's Michael doing? He's looking in the window and he sees his eyes.
Right.
He sees the same pain in Corey's eyes and realizes that he has that same potential. So he lets him go because he understands that Corey is dealing with the same trauma that he was dealing with.
But that makes sense now, because on thinking about it, I was like, okay, so
okay.
He basically he spared Corey because he knows
that he's dealing with shit too.
So
exactly.
So when you first saw it in the theater, Zach, you thought
it was evil was being transported into him. I was like, oh god, is this what we're doing? Yeah. That's exactly what I thought was happening.
You thought some Jason Goes to Hell shit was happening, where Jason's heart and soul goes from one person to another.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So, but that makes a lot more sense that Michael lets him go because he understands his trauma or what he's going through.
And I think, like I said, it ties in perfectly with the end of Halloween Kills, because that's the last thing you see of Michael is him looking in the window, seeing his own eyes, and him kind of acknowledging that he is dealing with shit. And I think that's why he goes away, because he's like, he is a monster, but he's still human.
Yeah.
I don't know. He goes through all hell and back basically to kill
Prove
people.
this. Yeah.
But I think when you're able to tie in a movie like that and have it happen subtly, that is good writing.
Well, even the opening credits of like the pumpkins kind of like coming, like they're almost like self imploding on themselves, and they're eating within the inside. That's a symbol of infection. Like the infection grows until it can't be controlled anymore. So I thought that in retrospect, I was like, that's a good opening tease for what's about to happen.
The first hour to me was a little slow, like in the first initial watch, but now looking back at it, I'm like, I don't really think I'm going to have an issue with that first hour anymore, because you were getting so much ingredients thrown to you that the pacing was actually pretty fun. You got the little flick romance between Will Patton and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were upset because Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't in this movie, like maybe they wanted her to be, but I think she was sprinkled out just enough.
Yeah.
I think when you did see her on screen, she was happy. She was in her house. She was at the grocery store with Will Patton. There were some scenes where she was also sad. The customer outside the grocery store was dogging on her, completely ruined her day.
Yeah.
And that was the woman from Kills that she gets like stabbed in the throat with a light bulb or something.
Yeah. And then
go ahead.
I was just, when she kind of realizes that maybe Corey isn't the nice boy that she thought she was, she's dealing with not only, all of that, but she's like, man, I want my granddaughter to be so happy that I'm forcing her, I'm pretty much trying to place her in a relationship when she's not letting things happen organically. And I think by her realizing that, when she realizes that Corey's not maybe necessarily the guy that she thought, she feels guilty and she has to go out and try to fix things and do it herself. But that's just what I was going to say.
Yeah.
To add on to it.
Did you guys I like Lori, her commentary over like after the end credits, the opening credits. It was kind of like a previously on Halloween, and they go back all the way to 1978, and they kind of like remind us of everything that's happened. And now Lori's, like you said, Johnny, she's happy. She has a memoir. She's writing her memoir. She has almost like a new. This Lori is very different from the 2018 Lori. Like she's has a new outlook on life, saying like.
And let's remind people that way, like Halloween and Halloween Kills happens in the exact same night.
Yes, exactly.
So those two movies.
And this is 4 years later.
And this is exactly. This is 4 years later. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to touch on that just for a minute. Did you guys enjoy that part too? Because I thought it was pretty cool. That it didn't happen. The next Halloween. I'm glad that they took literally movie time 4 years in between the incidents.
Because if they had done this is another story that happened on the same 2018 night. I was like, I don't know what else you could do from that, honestly. Yeah. So I'm glad they did like a time jump for that.
Yeah. I also enjoyed, because in those 4 years, Michael, in 2018's version, Michael's what, in his 60s?
Yeah.
So now, so many years later, I know you guys had to enjoy when he was down in the sewer, how he looked his age down in the sewer.
Yeah. Not just looked, he acted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was just fine detail work as far as the writing goes.
Because when Corey's beating on him, like trying to like get away, like he like falls back, and like there was really a moment where I was like, is Michael really gonna die and Corey is gonna like be the mantle of Michael? That's who Laurie's gonna fight at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I thought, well, because when you're in the previews, you see Laurie take the mask off of Michael, and then it cuts to Halloween Kills title card. Yeah. So when I'm watching Corey beating the hell out of Michael, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking he's going to kill Michael, and then when Laurie takes the mask off of him in the trailer, oh, that was Corey.
Yeah.
So, and there's all different kinds of ways this movie could have ended. People probably think.
I do like how Michael was, kind of, he's an old guy. He doesn't have the lust to kill right now. So, when Corey's beating on him, it's just an old man. It's not anybody who's, you know, he doesn't have any recent memory of trauma or hatred. So he's just kind of this old guy, and that's what he is. And once he gets that one little
kill
and taste and sense of blood, he just kind of, you see him, I don't want to say powered up, but he's just like,
that's what it is.
He
That's
holds
what he
up,
is.
brother.
he's reinvigorated with the sense and the
urge.
I don't want to say excitement, not enjoyment, but excitement to kill. Like, it's like he's like this, he's meant for this. That's and so when he gets it, he's
because when Corey Laurie's Allison's ex-boyfriend, who's like a cop, into the sewer and they beat him up, and when he's basically saying do it, and then when Michael, like, you could just see, like, he does the first stab, and then it, like you said, I agree with what you said, Craig. He just powers up basically, and he starts going at him like tooth and nail, and then when he rises up, it was like, okay, so Michael, like, it literally, his life source is finally returned to him, almost in a weird way.
Yeah, I just think his 4 years away, I'm sorry. His 4 years, his 4 years away and in the sewer, he just kind of, you know, forgets everything, and he's not, you know, he's just a person at that point. But when he gets that kill, he senses that,
Like a
he's
blood.
just like,
He's like a shark in the water.
yeah, and
I wanted to bring that up.
I'm all thrown off.
What'd you guys think of the homeless guy who, you know, he went to Corey and he was like, why did you make it out of there? Everybody he takes down there, they don't come back. You know,
Why isn't he dead?
yeah. And he was the first initial like kill for Corey, and I thought that was pretty fun, I guess, seeing Corey kill somebody.
Fun. Yeah, I think it just, you know, once you kind of see Corey take that next step of being kind of crazy, it was interesting, and to see them kind of be like a team up. And when he pulled the knife out of the concrete in the sewer, and you
It's
just
like
kind of
all
see the
rusted.
sheen, it's like it's coming full circle. He's coming back.
Exactly. Did you like the idea of Corey? Like I said, he's like the new shunned person in society, and there's these group of school bullies that kind of like attack him they want him to buy beer at like a convenience store, and they attack him. Did you initially like the idea of Lori kind of taking up for him, and then eventually it's a spiral progression of she knows that there's something, he's damaged, but she wants to take care of him, but then
Because
when he slowly transforms into Michael, it's a different care, like, of, okay, you need help, to the point of, you need to stay away from my granddaughter.
Yeah, I think initially she sees something in him that maybe she feels, and she's like, you know, I've been down that path. I've been down the point where people treat you like you're a cancer, and you're the issue of the town, and you know, I think that's why she kind of sticks out for him, and wants to make him feel like, you know, not everybody is against you, even though, you know, you have had something traumatizing happen to you.
Right.
And I think it was a good kind of subplot for everything, to have her kind of come full circle and see from the outside somebody dealing with the same trauma that she's dealing with.
Yeah.
And, you know, because if you go through the same steps of, you know, Michael comes out after 4 years, he comes out of nowhere and he's chasing her again. It's like, why did he wait 4 years?
Yeah.
Why? So the Corey subplot not only adds to another layer to the film, it brings Michael back, in a sense, in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. Because like in the trailer, you see Corey go, and that's what kind of like frightened me a little bit about seeing this film, is Corey goes into the sewer, and it sets it up to be kind of like a an it situation where like Michael's like just a creature that kills people and like lures them in. That only really happens once, and then finally he is
He's out
out.
of the sewer. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's now a free fall of who's gonna die.
Yeah, but when they kind of team up and they go to that doctor's house,
Yeah,
and he's wearing that kind of like the what kind of mask is that? Like a pumpkin?
it was a scarecrow.
Scarecrow. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's wearing that scarecrow mask, and he's sitting there and he's just stabbing that doctor to death.
yeah.
And you see the light come on. And it's just like, okay, so he's really just
Going
like
for it.
full blown going for it, while Michael, I guess, is chilling in the cellar or in the sewers. And then she locks the door on him, and Michael comes out from behind her and just
Does the
puts her up
classic.
against the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, now we kind of
Forget
go
it.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
And something else. Everyone that dies in this movie deserves to die. Like they're jerks, they're assholes. The kids, each
except
one
the
of
little
them.
boy at the beginning.
Yeah,
Well,
except
actually, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah, I mean, he taunted Corey basically, and except for the uncle that gets like shot in the head by accident, that was kind of that was the only one. Because even the mother, even the mother is very like psychologically damaging him. Like if you're gonna go be around the girl, you might as well just get out of the house. All this and that. It's just like, okay, so you're gonna die a horrible death. And the DJ's death is like that one was probably the most brutal one in the movie.
Yeah.
So
the scenes like after Corey has kind of already committed the first kill, and he's like trying to convince
Allison
to run away with him.
Yeah.
I was like, are they gonna become like a see? So I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, I really hope they don't kill Michael in this movie and then do like a spinoff of like him and her doing some type of Halloween stuff.
I thought the same thing. I didn't, because they kept playing the idea of Corey keeps saying we just need to burn it down. We need to just destroy it. And then Allison starts to get on his side. And then when it's revealed that the other nurse gets a promotion, she kind of has like an anger moment.
Yeah.
And it was just like, is she going to turn? And then maybe is she the one that maybe kills Corey and Lori? But I mean, I'm glad they didn't go that route though, because it's like Allison is still, I think out of all of them, she's the purest, just because she, even going back to that first film, the 2018 one, she wants nothing to do with it. She just wants to live her life. So,
but I think this film does a lot more than just the slasher flick. It's showing how impactful or blinded you can be whenever you have feelings for somebody. Like she was all in on Corey. She was enjoying his company. She loved him, I guess. And he's already kind of damaged at this moment. So he's like, we need to do this, we need to do that. And he's clouding her judgment. And I think it's portraying on film like you can be cloudy and go down the path that you don't need to be going down. So I think this film does a very good job of not only telling a story, but having a subplot to help tell the story, and then kind of layering real life issues into the movie.
Yeah. And I like the idea that there's a scene where after the party, he meets the mother of the boy that was killed, and she's just, she's kind of like, oh, so you're out here dancing out, having a good time while I'm down here, I'm drinking. Just, you've ruined our life and everything. And Allison chases Corey out of the bar, and they kind of have the conversation of our traumas are very different. You're accused of murder. I lost my parents in the massacre that happened 4 years ago. But we can put our traumas behind us because
Yeah.
I care about you as a person. I don't care what other people think about you. But he doesn't. He's unable to get past that, basically.
Yeah. You're muted, Johnny.
You're muted.
Fuck.
I do think I do like you guys were talking about the doctor's death. I
Yeah.
do think when Michael finally does get that first initial kill outside of the sewer hole, like, you know, that's where business starts picking up, and I think it's just fun. You know, it's just fun that you get more, like Craig. Yeah, I think you were talking about it. You get more than just a slasher flick.
Yeah.
You get a psychological thriller. You get a horror film. You get you kind of get like a love story going on between Corey and Allison. And I liked how they focused this movie more on Allison. I know people are upset because, well, Jamie Lee Curtis, it's her story. She needs to end it. She does, but it's also Allison's story. She's been in all three movies. It's her family's story. And I enjoyed that they focused more on just Michael and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, and no, I definitely agree with you. It is at this point, it's a Strode issue. It's not a
Tag team.
It's not a Jamie Lee Curtis. It's that entire family. They've all dealt with it. Her, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter, Allison's mother, she died because of it. They've both had numerous people. Her boyfriend in the first one, or was it the second one?
It was the second one.
Second one, yeah.
He get killed off, yeah.
Allison's boyfriend dies. So they've all been impacted very impactful from Michael. So at that point, it's not just Jamie Lee Curtis dealing with it. So adding her into the story, I think makes sense because, like I said, you see Jamie Lee Curtis in pretty much all the Halloweens.
Yeah.
And you see how it's impacted her. And I think adding just a little bit of Allison in the final movie makes a little bit of sense.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I like the idea. It's analogy of it's a cancer that has spread beyond Lori. It's affected her daughter, Karen, who ultimately gets killed by Michael. And now it's affecting Allison, and the fact that by the end of this movie, she has to leave Haddonfield just to literally start over and get, just get like a new life.
Even though Michael's been gone for 4 years. So, it's not like, oh, time heals all wounds, as I say. It's like, no, it's been 4 years without anything happening. And I still there's just this shadow hanging over us.
Did anyone have like and this is probably just nitpicking, but did anyone have like how's he been down there for 4 years and, didn't eat, just the logic of it? Did it bother anybody? Just cannibalize people?
Yeah. Because, I mean, I'm glad you kind of brought that up, just the fantasy book, what he did while he was down there. But yeah, I think he did, cannibalize, eat what he could. In the very first movie in 1978, you hear Dr. Loomis talking about the dog was still warm. So he eats dogs. Yeah. We know that from the beginning. So, he's.
I mean, so yeah, when you go in there, you don't see any bodies, even though he's killed anybody and everything who goes down there. It's a homeless village from what it looks like. So he's killed everybody up to that point. Even the old man says, how did you get out? So that means that things have gone in and nothing come out, but you don't see any bodies. So yeah. I think that's really what he's done. He's killed and ate anything that came in there and just kind of been in his own little tomb sanctuary, I guess.
Yeah. I like the when Lori kind of starts to get the sense that there's something wrong.
There we go. The 4K bad guy says the homeless man was sharing his leftover food. Hey, maybe you know what?
True.
If you want to fantasize too, like maybe that was Michael's lookout. He could have been like, hey,
Yeah, maybe he was about to kill him, and he's like, "Hey, I'll leave you down here, and I'll bring you." You never know. Yeah. I think that would have been an interesting little 15-second clip, though. Like at
it's probably a deleted scene. I'll bet you.
So a lot of people, throughout the two movies, 1 and 2, the doctor was saying it in Halloween 2018. They mentioned it in Halloween Kills Again. Were you guys worried or upset that there was no words again dished out by Michael in this movie? Because throughout the first two movies, people are talking about, hey, he's going to talk, he's got to say something. What's going to be his first words? They tease it in both movies, but it was never again teased in this movie. Did you guys want to hear him say or utter something, or because that was something that never got brought up again in this movie?
I'm surprised that they didn't. There was part of me that wanted that to happen just for him, like in the kitchen battle between him and Lori. I really thought when she pins him to the table, I really thought he would say something, but I'm glad that they didn't, because it would just, I don't know what you would say in that moment, especially in Michael's perspective, but
you'd be sounding like the Iron Giant. Friend. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's been away and isolated for 4 years. He hasn't talked much in any other movie, so like, does he really know how to talk? Does he know how to communicate? I mean, he's been psychologically.
I mean, did you want? I mean, did
that Scarecrow mask was
that
pretty
happen?
insane.
Yeah, I mean,
I liked it.
When he's killing that doctor, he looks up. It is kind of freaky.
Yeah.
What if Michael did say, "I love you"?
I am your brother. It would just like sets everything back up in motion.
Or his voice changes to James Earl Jones and he says, "Sister."
You are
sister. No. It's in that moment. I don't know what could have been said to make you.
I know that's like one of the big plot holes that a lot of people are having issues with. Like, oh, you teased him speaking in the first two movies, and people wanted it so bad. Now you don't even respond. But I don't know. I like it.
But guess what? If he says something and it's dumb as shit, people are going to be like, "Where did he even talk?" You know what I mean?
That's true. If you don't pick the right one, then people are going to have issues with it. So. Die.
While we're getting some comments here on the YouTube channel, I would love to start hearing some people's some star ratings, 1 out of 10. If you guys want to start sending in some star ratings, I think that'll start being interesting. So what did you guys think? Of Corey finally getting to Jamie and kind of the climaxing of the film when Corey does finally do away with himself,
which is crazy, because he tells her, like, if I can't have Allison, nobody can, which is complete psycho shit.
Oof, here we are. We're getting into some ratings.
But
8 for Franco, 6.5 for Tiff.
When she's up there and it looks like she's gonna kind of kill herself, and she shoots the pumpkin, which the Halloween pumpkin, and he kind of comes in and she's like, "You really thought I was gonna kill myself?" And then shoots him twice and he falls down the stairs. I'm like, okay.
Did anybody think she was really gonna kill herself?
Yeah.
Did you? Really?
I thought so. Yeah. Like, but I would have been mad. I'd be like, really? Like, you set this whole thing up, and like that's how she ends.
She survived Michael for this many years, and she's gonna off herself.
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought it was going to happen, and I would have honestly enjoyed it and liked it, because
I'm sure you would have. You crazy?
No, not like that. because it would have shown you that not only did all the stuff that Michael put her through, that's not what drove her over the board. It's losing her granddaughter that threw her over the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Well, not just losing her granddaughter, but putting her in that situation. Because she.
So that would tell you, like, that's what would have made me seem like I'm excited that she would have committed suicide, because Michael didn't make her do it. Losing her granddaughter and all that stuff with her granddaughter made her do it.
Yeah.
So, and then you would have had the ending probably be like Allison would have had to survive not just Corey now, but Michael as well.
Then then you kind of put her, then if it were to happen, it would make sense, because you kind of focus the movie on Allison initially,
right?
But you still have Jamie there. But then Jamie does that, and she's like, "No, Grandma."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you were to do it, I think that would have been a good ending, because she would have, probably seen him there with a knife or something like that. Maybe thought he killed her because she showed up just like right after everything.
Yeah.
And but yeah, him stabbing himself in the neck when
8 out of 10.
when he knew that she was coming in, I was like, yo, this dude legit crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and really, we hadn't really talked about it, but when Corey goes back to the sewer, he beats up Michael, takes his mask, and I think that pretty much sets Michael against Corey, because when Michael comes back and gets the mask, Corey is still alive, bleeding out from the neck, and Michael just finishes him off right then and there.
He's like, I know you're already dead, but I want to be the finisher.
Yeah.
And when he's in the sewer and he just does that raise, I was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Michael's back.
Exactly.
But it was just funny because, like, I don't know, he's just laying there.
It's like, no, I'm not going to go out that easy. Did you guys I guess we'll get into it. Did you guys like the final confrontation between Michael and Laurie, where it's just like they're beating each other all over the mat, all over the kitchen?
Oh, that's true. Look at this. It did make Michael look like a bitch when he took his mask, though. I was a little upset. Like when he did take his mask, I was like, man, if you take the dude's mask, like just fucking kill him. Just leave him down there, let him rot. Like, because again, that's another thing that they tease in 1 and 2, or at least in 2018 and Halloween Kills. It's the mask that the podcasters brought back that made him want that hunger again, maybe.
Yeah.
So I was thinking when they did take the mask away at Halloween Ends, when Corey took the mask, I'm like, maybe is that it? Does he just stay down there and now it's just a tell no story kind of ending? But yeah, that's a good bring up too. Taking the mask made him just kind of wash away.
Well, I texted Johnny during the movie when they were fighting. Battle of the Brittle.
Yeah, basically.
Too old. Like, come on now. You're not gonna straight up throw a 60-something-year-old lady against the refrigerator and expect her to be able to keep her composure. How old is Jamie Lee Curtis?
She's almost in her 70s, I think.
Yeah.
What about this? It would have looked better had Michael took his mask off willingly and passed it to him. Like
She's 60
generation.
She's 63. So
passing the torch maybe of the mask. What do you think? Would you guys would have liked that ending?
I think that's what
that sets it up for something else.
Yeah, I think them kind of acknowledging that they both want to do the same thing is good. I passing the mask, I think, makes it seem like they were wanting Corey to be that killer.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's just not.
I think
it wouldn't have worked.
If you're fantasy booking, if David Gordon Green maybe had any plans to do a series or extending his Halloween franchise, then maybe. But I guess this was the end all be all of at least those two, and I liked how they teased throughout the entire movie. That's what he teased. Corey's going to be the next killer. Corey this and Corey that. But yeah, I mean, Corey gets his death and his neck gets.
But like I said, it's a subplot. It's showing that people can have their own traumas and go to certain lengths, and it's not just one guy that can be, that insane and go that distance. Like, yeah, Michael Myers is a little different because he survived a lot of stuff, but trauma can damage a lot of people in a lot of different ways, even to the extent of what happened with Corey.
Yeah.
And I almost kind of like how it made it seem like the people of the town did it to Corey.
Yeah.
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah. And that's the same in Halloween Kills. The escapee committed suicide because the town was chasing him throughout the whole hospital.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that ties into this movie as well. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think me and Craig were disappointed with Kills initially, but I mean, David Gordon Green, he had a roadmap of what he was doing. We just didn't want to accept it in the time. So
at the time, I was like, why are you doing just the whole movie where he starts and finishes in like a straight line, and that's all he's doing?
Yeah.
And he just wanted to show that Michael's still that merciless killer who is going to stop at nothing to get to Lori. And I mean, at the end, he kind of does, he gets Lori's daughter. And so he probably would have kept going if he didn't see himself in the mirror and maybe have a moment of, you know, like, you're not this monster. And he realizes that his eyes have that trauma and he kind of takes a step back, but Corey brings it out of him again.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of, Zach? You were about to bring it up, the psychological trauma and the battle between the two at the end with Jamie and.
I mean, I like the battle. I think, you know, if you do this Halloween Ends, I mean, you have to have one final confrontation between Michael and Lori, and I think the battle is good. You know, it only lasts for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then she pins him to the table and starts cutting necks, cutting wrists and everything. And for a second, I mean, Michael cuts through the knife to release his hand and starts choking Lori. You're like, oh, so Lori's still gonna go out that way. But Allison comes in and saves her, basically.
It's like, how are you going to choke somebody like this?
Exactly.
Because it's like,
isn't that in Men? Doesn't like the guy's hand gets like split open, and that like something happens like that?
Yeah, they took it from that. But I like the fact when
Why don't y'all read that?
the way I always do to enjoy a movie is to go with a blank slate so I can enjoy the movie. One of the things I didn't like is how easy Allison was able to pull Michael Myers' hand away from Laurie. Yeah, I mean, you can nitpick at all. There's a lot of stuff in here that kind of shows Michael's weakness, even though he was able to lift that the doctor's lady up against the wall. You know, I think there's moments. I mean, the dude's literally pinned to a table and half beaten to death.
I think at that point, though, that's just the detail work of, you know, the writers showing you, hey, you know, if Allison can put Michael's hand down like that, he knows it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
I think even by then he's already had his throat slit. So
yeah, his throat was slit, his hand was pinned, the fridge is on his leg. Dude's been through hell at that point. So, but then when she breaks his arm, dude, I was like, oof.
Oh yeah.
On the kitchen table. Yeah.
And then did you guys like this? I thought this was kind of cheesy. Hey,
a surprise entrance.
A little late to the party, but
I kind of thought it was cheesy, like the funeral procession to the shredder. And then I truly thought when they put his body in the shredder, like it looked like the way it was filmed, Jamie Lee Curtis was like standing on top of the body. I was like, is she going to go into the shredder with him?
Yeah,
like this is how it's all going to end.
It was a little weird. I did like when he's laying on the kitchen table, she holds the knife up and lets him look at his reflection one last time. Like, yeah, you're a monster, and this is why I'm doing this. Dirty bitch.
Being joined now by Nick, 4K bad guy, big Halloween fan. Nick, what did you think? Did you like the ending? How Michael got pinned down and got everything tossed on him, stabbed, butchered.
Guy thrown on him and shit, man. The fridge. I guess that's pretty creative. You want to hold down a guy, but this guy's like 65 years old. A bit supernatural.
Real supernatural.
There's people that are like really into the Michael Myers character, so I would assume everyone else that's into the character, like myself, got a teary eye in that part.
So you're a huge Halloween fan, big Michael fan. Everybody's shitting on this movie, man. What did you initially think without giving your star rating yet? I mean, you know, we kind of talked about it already, but did you like it? Did you love it? Did you enjoy some of the detailed stuff in between? Or
actually just got done watching maybe like an hour ago. It's for the second time.
Fresh.
For the second
time.
Second viewing. Yeah, the first time I went to go see by myself. Well, not technically not by myself, because I was sitting by myself, but then someone decided to buy a ticket right next to me. So I'm just sitting next to a stranger. So
was it an empty theater?
There's like 17 other people were on there. But just
I'd
the
have
fact that I was on the wait top and then someone just bought their ticket like right next to me when they had the extra space.
Oh God.
I'd be like, at least bring me popcorn.
Oh no.
He didn't share his popcorn, and he had
I
like
know. I would have said, if you're gonna sit here, I get some of your popcorn. Or you should have just like reached over it.
Started making some.
Fight me then.
fight me. Nah, but the first initial watch, I mean, that's with every movie. I don't know how to feel at that moment. But after seeing, I mean, I did enjoy it. I would say,
Yeah.
because after like a few days that passed by, people were already like, I don't know, I guess from early screening or even just the day of release, hearing a bunch of negative reviews. I was like, I can't go in with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think what people are failing to realize is we've had all these films where Michael's just this merciless killer, and you know that's really all he's been. And you finally have a 3-film trilogy that is telling a story and kind of putting a bow on Michael Myers. It's not like they went into this thinking, okay, we're going to do these 3 and keep going forward. They had a story to tell, and they were going to wrap up this character and be done with it. And and in the 3rd film, I think they I'm not saying they did it the only way you can, but they did it in a way that was fulfilling. I think we've all used that word.
Yeah.
It's they show him as a weak old man. They show him kind of get his powers back and his lust for killing. They show how cancerous he is to the town, the people, what it can do to other people's traumas. I think they've checked off a lot of boxes on this movie in this trilogy. You know, you get, like I said, you get all the killing in Halloween Kills. You get the story ending and Halloween Ends. Yeah, I think they did a pretty damn good job on it.
And here's the thing: I think, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis has gone on record and said this is her final Halloween film, which I agree. The way this ends, you don't need to do anything else. Just leave it as how this ends. But to be honest with you, I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis would have came back if she didn't believe in what this 3-arc story was going to be. I think she said, "No, I'm good. Do something else, or just don't do it."
I'm surprised she came back for Resurrection, so she probably needed something to get out of her. She needs something to get that bitter taste out of her mouth.
She had no choice. She was obligated.
Ending wise, I thought it was a good ending. Meat grinder though, I don't know.
The ending was a little rough.
Well, I'm glad they were just like, no, they're not. He's not dead. Take his body to be shredded and like, okay, so like, you know, there's no coming back from that.
I thought they were going to take it to the junkyard to burn him to death, but then I'm like, oh, I saw the meat grinder. I saw the grinder from the beginning earlier in the movie. I'm like, oh, that makes a little bit more sense.
But let's be honest, he's been shot, he's been stabbed.
Doesn't he get set on fire in the second one?
Set on fire. True. He's already had all those things happen. So like, I think the meat grinder like puts it a nail in the coffin that this guy's not coming back.
I also have to ask this. I have to ask this question. Go ahead and finish that statement, though.
I just think seeing his body be completely torn apart, shredded, mauled, it was the only way to kind of get people to be like, okay, this really is the ending.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, a few years ago, we reviewed Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2 from the 80s. So we know how that movie goes. He gets shot in the eyes. He bleeds, right?
Yeah.
In the Halloween trilogy that we just got done watching, 2018 kills and ends. Something is wrong with his other eye. What happened to his eye? I can't remember.
He gets poked.
He gets poked in what movie, though?
The first one. On the closet scene, I believe that's around the time it happens.
With the knitting,
okay.
the knitting needle,
the very first movie, 78.
Oh yeah.
With the hanger.
Yeah,
the hanger.
Okay, that's detail.
Continuity.
I was like, that's 1978. So
yeah, I knew. Okay, because I'm like, surely they didn't tie in Halloween 2, but yeah, I was like, why is he missing? What's wrong with his eye? I forgot. Yeah, fuck me, right?
No.
So the meat grinder is the way he goes out.
Did you like how they put him on the car and kind of charaded him and people started following him like he was Rocky.
I do.
They followed
it
in
was
line, and
it was almost like, man, I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to anyway. It was almost like biblical,
Yeah.
you know, going back to Halloween Kills, evil dies tonight. Like literally, the town was ready.
Is that
Like
enough?
everybody, yeah, and people are gonna make sure he's not getting away. They're not even gonna check his pulse. Whether he's dead or alive, he's going in that chopper. So he's going in the chopper.
Yeah.
So
The way he was being lifted, like up, like I was playing Spider-Man 2 in my head when they left Toby in the air like that.
so
he's just a boy.
It's just a boy, snowman.
man. Did anybody have a favorite kill in this movie? And you cannot say the little boy in the first 5 minutes.
Yes,
Ed's not here, so you can't do that.
it's honorable mention.
I like the police, the police guy, that Allison's kind of psycho police
Oh yeah.
X
The guy,
thing.
the guy who looks like he's in his 40s.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. It was I like how he followed him, and Corey kind of knew he was following him and lured him down there, and he let Michael get a little taste.
Oh.
He's like, "You let me go, I'm gonna bring him to you."
I like the DJ's death. It basically gets his face bashed in on the station, and then he cuts his tongue out, and it's like on the record player, just going around in circles. I was like, oh, that's brutal.
I like how the radio was. You could hear it on the radio. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick the doctor and the head nurse. If I had to pick between the two, I would say Michael's. Really, is that his one and only kill in the movie besides the police officer?
No, he kills Corey.
He finishes off Corey.
He finishes off Corey.
So he only has 2 kills in the movie.
Yeah. So I would say when he hangs up the nurse as a Halloween decoration, it's my favorite one. Classic.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick?
Oh man, visually, like the one you said, when Corey's freaking stabbing the doctor, that's just crazy. Just
with the
doing
scarecrow mask.
The scarecrow mask. That's the DJ one. That's pretty cool. Also, I think I like that one. Just seeing it, I think a kill that would have been even crazier would have been that blowtorch when he gets that teenager.
Oh, I forgot about
Like they only show like a little bit of it, but manages to show like a full on. That would have been
those
sick.
Kids really. Those kids get it.
Yeah. Corey did get like a lot of they did give all the good kills to Corey.
Yeah.
I wish they would have given Michael a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
a little bit more screen time.
But I get what they were trying to do.
You guys think that there's going to be an extended cut maybe that's released when the Blu-ray comes out, and you'll get more Michael in that?
It'd be nice.
Yeah, because the Halloween Kills extended cut, they just extend the deaths more. There's a little bit more blood, basically. There you go. There you go.
One guessing.
Favorite scene. Craig, we'll start with you. Do you have a favorite scene from the whole movie?
I guess I would say since we brought it back up, the junkyard scene when Corey kind of gets his vengeance on all the kids who have been bullying him.
Yep.
When that girl's on the fence and he runs her over and it's good.
She doesn't die though. She just oh no. He drives off in it. Yeah, that's right.
After he blowtorches the dude's face,
that's right.
He just smashes her head.
Yep.
If I had to pick one, I'm going to be cheesy. The grocery store scene with Will Patton and Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. Nice to see those two characters, their story continue and evolve.
The strawberry blossoms.
Oh yeah, cherry blossoms, right? Cherry.
Yeah.
My bad.
And then if I had to pick, a gruesome scene, it would be the final blow. The back and forthness between Michael and Laurie until he finally gets his death was coming to him. So, Zach, favorite scene?
Probably favorite kill would be the DJ. The favorite action would be the final confrontation between Laurie and Michael. Probably my favorite character moment would be between Allison and Corey, where they're just kind of bonding over past trauma. I thought that was some good just written character development for the two characters. So,
Nick, favorite scene?
where it says
Overall-
ends, but it says Halloween ends.
Ends and
Yeah.
blue fonts. That
Yeah.
was sexy, like Season of Witch. I mean,
I did like the blue font.
the blue font. That'd be really just the junkyard scene when being. I love the story with Corey and Allison. Was nice. Like I said, it was like a lovely love story. Even though it wasn't supposed to tend it that way, but it's cool.
Before we do grades, or star rating, the movie ends with Allison leaving Haddonfield, Laurie and Officer Frank. They kind of start their romance up, and then it does like a multi-cut scene of Laurie's house, and then the last shot of the film is the mask sitting on the coffee table. What do we think about that?
What I enjoyed the most about it is at the end of Halloween, the original one, it does the same thing. It goes through, Tommy Doyle's house, and it goes through all the events that Michael went through, and you don't see the mask, but you hear him breathing through the mask, signifying that he's still out there. It's the same thing in this one. It goes through the house, it goes through Laurie's house and the trauma, but this time there's no breathing.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a significant ending, and to me, even if both Laurie and him died in this movie, them showing the ending with no breathing the mask, to me, that kind of solidified, like, okay, I really like that ending.
Yeah.
What about when Michael said it's morphin time?
Morbin.
Morbin? Oh, Morphin time.
Talking about Morbius.
Oh. I would have liked if he said morphin. But I like that ending, Zach.
Okay.
What about anybody else?
With no Fred Reaper playing.
Yeah.
I think the tie-ins to kind of make it seem like the original.
I think Don't Fear the Reaper was also playing elevator style in the grocery store too.
Yes.
It was, okay.
And it's also the song that Laurie and her friend are listening to in the car in the original Halloween when they're just driving around town. So
Also on Rob Zombie's Halloween. What the hell? It's not even part of the timeline anymore.
Yeah. It was a good ending scene.
So star rating?
Oof. All right.
Oh, Nick, before we get going, like, do you think this movie deserves all the hate that it's getting? Because all of us agree that it's not as bad as people are making it out to be.
Nah, it doesn't deserve the hate. I mean, I knew this movie, when going into this movie, was gonna be more story-driven character than the kills. You're gonna get less Michael Myers screen time.
Yeah. Well, plus you got all the kills in the last one, so they were going to focus more on character development than anything else.
You also get you also get though I went blank. You also get Zach, what was your question?
Oh, do you think this movie deserves all the hate that it's getting?
Oh no. Like I said earlier, this is I think this is David Gordon Green's version of Season of the Witch, how it kind of does, the story takes away from Michael, but yet, hey, at least he's still in the movie, so.
And something you always have to remember is when they say this is the ending to a trilogy and like the last of whatever, people are going to have expectations going in, and when they're not met, they're going to get pissed. You just have to remember that.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So, star rating on a movie that is heavily diverse right now. We're going to get ready to get into the emails too and see what some people's star ratings are in the emails. Zach, we'll start with you. What's your star 1 out of 10 out of Halloween Ends? And does this
let's do for Halloween Ends and for the trilogy
as a whole, as a trilogy?
Yeah.
For Halloween Ends, I'm gonna give it a.
Oh, go ahead and do 2018 Kills and then Ends.
So just do all of them. Just do all of them.
Yeah. Just do it.
Halloween 2018. I'll give a 9 for Halloween. Halloween Kills, I'll give a 7, and Halloween Ends, I'll give a 7 as well. I think,
Oof.
and as a trilogy altogether, I'll give it an 8. I think David Gordon Green set out to what he wanted to do. I think he accomplished it. So,
Did Halloween Ends change your opinion on Halloween Kills?
yes, because I rewatched Kills. I actually rewatched Kills before it ends, and I like it more the second time. So,
If
Johnny,
I had to do
you're up.
if I had to do 18 again, I would do 9. Halloween Kills would get an 8, and Halloween Ends, I think I'm gonna sit at a 7. I really, really do enjoy this movie. I don't know why people are trashing it, honestly. I think, it's different. It's paced very well. It's a Halloween movie, and you get more than what you're bargained for. So, and if I had to give the overall trilogy a rating, I'd go with a 9. Yeah, Craig.
You and me are on the same wavelength right there. 987. The whole trilogy is a 9. I think it was worthy to bring back and do a trilogy. 40 years later?
Yep.
I think as a whole, from start to finish, I want to rewatch. I probably will go back and do a rewatch of the 3, but I think it's solid. One, you kind of get a mixture of story and action. 2, you get a lot of action. 3, you get story that kind of ties up everything and ends not just the trilogy but the franchise. So 987 and then a 9 as well. Yeah.
Edward just sent me a message. Edward gives it a 7 for Halloween Ends as well. Nick, the floor is yours, my good friend.
Ooh. Is this like straight numbers, or is it half points?
You can do half.
You
can even do quarters.
Cheat myself here.
If you want to give it a quarter chub, you can give it a quarter chub.
Oh.
Give it a pocket knife.
Butter knife day. 2018. I've had a 8.5. I can be a generous 9. Kills will probably be around 7.5 ish, and Ends I'll set her an 8.
Okay.
So see, it's a good movie. I don't know. We'll the emails will probably floating in. We'll get some more throughout the week too, as more people come back from the weekend of seeing this movie. Technically there's still a whole Sunday, depending on where you're listening to this from. And then week 2, week 3, just like Top Gun, those emails are going to come piling in weeks and weeks later.
Multiple watches as well.
Yeah. And don't forget, this movie's on Peacock too. So if you guys want to check this movie out without going to the theater, it is on Peacock. But if you want to send in your star ratings, again, social media, hit us up. Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram, one word, The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Twitter @Cine-Men405. And then the email is cinemen921@gmail.com. So let's get into some of the emails.
I'm sorry.
The mail's here.
So got a lot of diverse emails. Again, if I haven't responded, I will not read the message aloud. I'll respond, and we still have today and Thursday. We have an episode dropping on Thursday as well. So Lawrence says my top 5 Freddy kills would be Nancy's death, Nightmare 3, Jennifer's death, Nightmare 3, Spencer's death, Nightmare 6, Freddy's dead, the comic book death in Nightmare 4, number 1, Johnny Depp's death in the original Nightmare. Gabriel says Halloween Ends, best in the franchise besides the original, 9 stars. Henry says, wow, just finished Halloween Ends and I had to email the show right away. Unique, fun, but a little disappointing. A little bit of letdown, 5 stars. Justin says, Halloween Ends was a big disappointment. Terrible. Never watching it again, 4 stars. Philip says, "Why even bother? Halloween Kills was a letdown. Halloween Ends is a flat out joke. Unbelievable. I'm glad I didn't waste my money in the theaters and just watched it at home. 3 stars." Derek says, "Had to write, haven't emailed in a while, but I had to send my thoughts on Halloween Ends. A great story, a bit unique, but it was all over the place. And overall, I think it was just fine. Mediocre at best, 6 stars."
It was fine.
Nathaniel says, "Halloween Ends is a lot better than people say. It's a new age version of the Season of the Witch, and I loved it. 8.5 stars." Do you guys think? I mean, do you? I mean, I kind of said it the same way. Do you guys think it is kind of his version of Season of the Witch, or do you think some people are just saying that like myself because the blue font?
No, I mean, Season of the Witch, I don't even think has Michael in it, right? It's just kind of
on TV.
It's
it's the map, the killer masks. That's what season 3 is.
Yeah, I just people are taking it as it's just they're trying to replace Michael and have somebody else as a killer, and it's somebody dealing with a town completely turning against you and the trauma behind it and getting to that breaking point. And I think when he sees Michael, he's like, I can be that. You know, he let me go, so we see something in me. I think that's the main thing. Michael seeing the trauma in his eyes and letting him go. Corey takes it as he sees me as a prodigy or somebody that can take his spot and mantle, and then that's where things kind of go south for him.
Yeah.
Different from Halloween emails. Jeffrey says, "Beast on Peacock is amazing. I would highly recommend it. Wouldn't mind hearing you guys' thoughts either." Beast gets a 9 from Jeffrey.
It's a good movie.
Idris Elba?
Yeah.
Idris Elba.
It's a good movie.
Sarah 97 says, "Halloween Ends was good. I don't know why it's getting so many bad reviews. I enjoyed it in theaters and on Peacock. 8 stars."
Yep.
Daniel says, "Corey was the worst character imaginable. Complete waste of time. 4 stars." Sam G69 says, "Halloween Ends is fine. It's not terrible, but it's not the best either. 6 stars." And we'll end it with Coco Chris. He says, "Halloween Ends is good. It's different. I appreciate the originality. 7 stars."
Very divisive, mostly negative, sounds like.
Yeah. Mostly negative. But, it kind of sounds the same from Halloween Kills. So, throughout the end, everybody has their rights. And as long as they continue to send it in, send them in and we'll read it aloud. But it's a little bit of a unique week for us this week. Work, unfortunately for me, had to shovel some things around. So the next episode, guys, is going to be this Thursday, live, 6 p.m., Imisawa Productions YouTube channel. Denzel Washington and horror season. People say it can't happen. Oh, it's happening. This Thursday, we're talking about The Bone Collector. Angelina Jolie, Denzel Washington. It's not a true horror movie, but it's your psychological thriller, kind of like Seven was. We reviewed Seven with Brad Pitt back in the day. So and we're leading up to our big Denzel cockpit release in December. So we have a whole month of November dedicated to Denzel. So why not throw a movie in there this week? Bone Collector, Thursday, October 20th. First time watch for everybody?
Yes.
I've never seen it. Craig, you've seen it?
Bone Collector? No, I haven't. Not to my knowledge.
Neither have I. Nick, I don't know if you're a big Denzel fan, but you're more than welcome to hop on and talk Denzel with us on Thursday. I think it's going to be a fun episode. First time watch for every single one of us. So I think that'll be unique.
When you initially said that you're trying to put Denzel in horror month, I was like, that's going to happen. And then you said that, I was like, you son of a bitch.
So
made it happen.
And honestly, after watching Fallen this past week too, that's considered a psychological thriller as well. So Denzel has 2 of those movies on his boat. I think it's going to be an interesting watch. Like I said, it's definitely far-fetched from your traditional horror movie, but it still gives spooky vibes. So I'm interested to see how The Bone Collector fears up this week. Anybody have any thoughts on The Bone Collector or talking another Denzel movie? I think it'll be a fun first time watch.
I've already watched it, so I'll just say it'll be a fun conversation, especially with a Denzel thriller. So
Nice. What did you find it on?
I just rented it from the library, so I'm a little old fashioned. But I don't think it's on any streaming services. I think you could just like get it for like $3.99 on Vudu or whatever.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime Video with a premium subscription.
Okay.
So, yeah. But The Bone Collector this Thursday, 6 p.m. Craig, you have anything to add to The Bone Collector or Halloween Ends?
No. I mean, I gave my thoughts for Halloween Ends. If people don't like it, they're not going to like it. I mean, we're not doing this podcast to persuade you to like or dislike. We're just kind of giving our thoughts. So if you do hear something on the podcast and you're like, okay, maybe if I look at it that way, cool. But I enjoyed the watch. I thought it was a good flick. So leave it at that.
Nice. Nick, you have anything you want to add before we get out of here on Halloween Ends?
Halloween Ends. I think this movie will eventually, in time, be admired, just like as a Season of the Witch, or I mean, Rob Zombie's movies. Even though for a long while people thought they were terrible, they're starting to get a fan base for it. So I think just give it a bunch of rewatches. You'll, I guess, eventually come around to liking it. If not, then oh well. It's not worse than Resurrection. So.
Oof, that's true. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. That was our review on Halloween Ends. Again, guys, send us in some thoughts. Send us in some emails, some star ratings. We'll see everybody this Thursday, October 20th, 6 p.m. as we review The Bone Collector right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.